Hey guys, Ben from CrossFit Feel Good. Today we're going to go over a question we get all the time. How do I build up to get a handstand push-up? Alright, so the handstand push-up first off requires a lot of strength. Alright, so for most people, we're going to have to build that strength first before we even worry about getting on the wall. So the first step with your handstand push-ups is doing seated dumbbell press, getting real good at push-ups. Alright, so unless we can do 15 to 20 push-ups on our toes, we probably won't be getting on the wall. Alright, so that's what we're going to work on first, along with those dumbbell seated press. And then I'm also going to show you a negative handstand push-up to the ab mat, which once we start building strength, that'll be our first introduction to the wall, so we can find out about that handstand position. So with the seated dumbbell press, what we want to start, we start with the dumbbells on the shoulders, pressing all the way up so our arms are next to our ears, touching at the bottom, pressing up. So when we're doing these sets, we're basically looking anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. Okay, so the reason why this is real beneficial to your handstand push-ups for a few reasons. One, we're using dumbbells, so it's unilateral, so we'll strengthen up any weaknesses from shoulder to shoulder. And then also with our handstand push-up, because our head's touching the ground, we're only pressing from here up. So if we can build that strength in that full range, because the dumbbells will come down to the bottom of the shoulder below the head, that's going to get us a lot stronger. With the negative, okay, so this is your first introduction to the wall. When we kick up, we're going to kick up and we're going to slowly lower ourselves for about 5 seconds until our head touches the mat, and then we're going to come off the wall. And then coming down. So you'll notice with that, it's the same speed the whole way down. Alright, so what we want to work here, because when people first start doing this one, it'll probably be nice and slow at the top where it's easy to control yourself, and then they'll start coming down too quick at the bottom. That's a strength issue. Alright, so that means we need to keep working on those if we can slow it down a little bit. If not, we'll go back to our dumbbells, keep getting those shoulders stronger and working those push-ups as well. Once we can get that, and we start getting good at the negative on the wall, then we can start doing our handstand push-ups to the ab mat, okay, which will look like this. Okay, so this is the first step. Because we have that ab mat and you've got that few inch rise, that's going to make it a little bit easier obviously than going head all the way down to the ground. So that's our first step. With the height, that's as high as I would go. Alright, if you have to start stacking plates underneath it, it's not going to be beneficial because you're starting to lose the range of motion. Alright, so once we can get that, that's when we're on the wall. Until we can get that, we need to work on those other things with strengthening up the shoulders, so that way we're moving and progressing in the right spots. Once we can do it with the ab mat, we'll remove that and then we go our head to the ground. Pressing up. So, once we can get that, then it becomes, we got to start looking at everything we can do to make those handstand push-ups as efficient and as strong as possible. So, our first one, you'll notice with my position when I went down, my hands were slightly in front of where my head was touching. Okay, so the reason for that is that's where we normally press our bars and everything else from, puts the body in a good position as well. So if we're back here and our head's hitting in line with our hands, you can see already it doesn't look too great on my shoulder. Okay, so we need to make sure those hands are slightly in front. So just so you can see the difference, first rep will be good, second rep will be bad where we're in the middle of our hands. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. So that's our first one we need to work on, make sure that position's good. Another problem we see with handstands is people's eyes. Okay, so if you have a mat on the ground like this, if at any time you're staring at the mat, you know you're in the wrong position. Okay, so what I mean by that is we might come down in a good position, but then as we go to press, we arch and I'll be looking at the ground. Okay, so the reason why that's bad is obviously we're arching, so we're losing that midline. Okay. And then that's probably going to pull us off the wall as well. So if you're someone who does handstands and you're constantly falling off the wall, more than likely, it's because you're using that midline and it's coming up like this. So this is what that would look like. And everything, you lose that midline, the legs normally bend as well. Okay, so what we want to do if I'm on the wall here, I'm picking something on the other side of the room. That's what I want to keep my eyes on the whole time. So better rep. So eyes stay fixed on the other side of the room, okay? That keeps our body nice and neutral, squeezing the abs so we've got that nice tight midline. And then also squeezing the legs as well, okay? Because the more rigid we can get our body, the easier it is going to be to press up, okay? If everything's loose and floppy, we're gonna have no tension anywhere, it's gonna be very hard to press up, okay? And our final thing, guys, to help with the handstand push-up is our speed and control on the way down. So often when you see this, especially when people are trying to get to the ab mat for the first few times or trying to get down all the way down to the mat, they're actually going too slow, okay? So they're almost thinking, I've got to try and stop myself and then actually press up, rather than just thinking controlled on the way down. We want to see that head go into the mat or the ab mat, and then we want to press up, okay? So a bad rep is going to look like this. Okay, so you can see I use all my energy to try and stop myself just a touch and then press up. Okay, what we want it to look like. Okay, controlling ourselves down. So that doesn't just mean we're just dropping down and then pressing up. We're still controlling, feeling like we're trying to turn those elbows in. That switches our lats on to help with that controlled descent. Okay, so nice and smooth on the way down. We want to feel that head push into the mat, and then we drive up with all that energy that's left. Okay, hope that helps. Give it a shot. Go get that first handstand.